Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the tall rock for a clan meeting.
Ew, I'm Simon.
Miouooo, I'm Australia.
You, I'm Evelyn. And today we're going to be discussing Tallstar's Revenge. Chapters 14, 15, and 16.
Be warned that our spoiler policy is spoilers are fun. So I had some follow-up from back when we were covering Into the Wild. Remember Brave Rosetail?
Bluestar's friend?
Yeah, in Into the Wild, she was just like an unnamed elder. Like she wasn't even in the allegiances. It's just like Rosetail died, and that was it.
Right, because didn't some other cat die too, and it was more important?
Yeah. And it was also like I think probably the only example of there being a named character who wasn't in the allegiances for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, esteemed YouTuber Moonkitty released a video about Rosetail. So yeah, Rosetail has been remembered. Our hashtag remembering Rosetail clearly worked.
How many times did we use it?
Maybe twice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The power that this podcast holds.
So for fandom news, should we talk about this recommended reading order on the website?
Yeah.
So first off, but what would you recommend the order in which to read the books?
Into the Wild.
And then Outcast.
No! Tallstar's Revenge.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just start with the first one, Into the Wild, and finish those.
Yeah, I think you should read all of the prophecy.
Then you should read Bluestar's Prophecy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then you could read Firestar's Quest too if you want. But not Skypine's Destiny.
If you want to break it up, you can also just read all of the next new prophecy, and then you can read Firestar's Quest too.
Yeah.
For a while, it was like nicely broken up when a special edition would come out.
Yeah, now capitalism has reared its ugly head, and they're just turning them out so much. Well, WarriorCats.com also recommends to start with Into the Wild.
Yeah, like chronologically, it's not the first, but I think that it's like still the best place to start. From my experience reading like Dawn of the Clans, I feel like they don't do a great job of explaining it. They just like kind of assume that you already know what's going on.
Yeah, you definitely should not read those first.
And I have my own list of the order because I have found it incredibly difficult to find online an actual just like list of when they came out. It's like, just here's the order in which they were released.
Yeah, on the website they have the chronological order like in universe.
Yeah, but I do not think you should try and read them in chronological order.
Absolutely not.
Be a nightmare. Also, I don't even understand. I'm looking at that list that they have now, and I don't understand it. It's not like numbered or anything. It doesn't. Why? Why does it look like this?
I know, and there's 2 columns, and then it gets broken up by like some pictures of the books. Then it's like keep reading ellipses, and it has more, and so on.
This is a horrible list.
It actually makes it more confusing.
Yep. I am more lost than I was before. Thanks, WarriorCats.com.
Well, I'm skipping through the rest of this article, and honestly, I don't care enough to talk about any of it. No. So I am done talking.
You don't need to know when you can start reading the field guide, Simon.
No, I don't need to start reading the field guides.
So sad.
Warrior's Quote of the Week.
Clear Sky looked up at Greywing, his eyes full of misery. "I've made a dreadful mistake," he gasped. I can't believe..." Just get it out. Some cat snapped out these words from behind Greywing, surprising him. From The Blazing Star, Chapter 12.
I hate
I
Clear
like-
Sky.
I like that we don't get to know.
Yeah.
Keep it a mystery what's supposed to be said.
I don't remember if it says later, not in the quote, but I do like how it is.
There's one thing about Warriors that makes it really difficult to read aloud is instead of just saying, like, some cat said, they say, some cat snapped out these words from behind Greywing, surprising him. So it's like, when you see some cat, you expect it to be some cat said. Then you say it, like, the way you stress the words always turns out wrong.
I agree.
It happens all the time.
Well, about the quote, I do love that Clear Sky was treated that way, because what a horrible cat.
Do you believe in Clear Sky redemption?
I do not, actually.
Is he like the evil dad one from Dawn
Yeah.
of the Clans? Yeah, okay, yeah.
I really have no sympathy for him.
No, he was horrible.
Yeah. Well, do we want to just go right into chapter 14?
Go.
All right. Chapter 14. Tall Paw is all like, can't sleep, and he runs to Outlook Rock in the middle of the night. And then Sparrow, a nice visitor, talks to Tall Paw on the rock, and Tall Paw tells Sparrow his problems. And then Tall Paw barely got any sleep that night, and Sparrow caught a rabbit for the elders, just to prove what a nice character he has. And then Tall Paw spies ThunderClan intruders, and tries to attack them, and you can tell something embarrassing is about to happen.
A lot of words in that.
Yeah. I love how the summaries are sometimes very short and sometimes very long.
Mhm. Yeah, the summary, the Cliff Notes summary is very short compared to that.
Starting off, Tall Paw, feeling very dejected, heads out of camp and towards Outlook Rock, hoping to find peace.
Sparrow joins him.
Tallpaw opens up and drops his troubles onto Sparrow, who seems to understand him. For the second time, Tallpaw wonders if he should be a tunneler, even though it's not what he wants. Sparrow tells Tallpaw to aim for what he wants, not what his father wants.
Tall Paw concludes that he should choose his destiny, and Sandgorse can choose his.
It is the next morning. Tall Paw is on the dawn patrol.
It's actually Sandgorskin chose his, Simon.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
you
god,
read it wrong.
Sandgorse can choose his. That's true.
Tallpaw smells a strange scent while going to the first marker. He identifies it as ThunderClan. He runs back to the warriors, leads them to the ThunderClan cats, and yowls to attack.
That's so embarrassing.
Cringe.
So I made these comments 6 weeks ago. So Estrella, you probably have the best memory. of
Well,
what's
I don't, because
happening
I made exactly one comment on all three chapters.
here.
So,
Well, chapters 17, 18, and 19 are fresh in my mind because
Oh
I
God,
thought that we
Black.
already did these ones.
I love how professional we are.
I'm so prepared.
Alright, so chapter 14.
Does anyone remember what happened in the last chapter?
You mean chapter 4?
I think the visitors came. Or maybe that was the last 2 chapters.
Yeah, I think like we had a little bit of time with them. I think, we found out that Weehan is no more.
Oh, devastating.
R.I.P. Queen.
We start off, Tall Paw is looking up at the stars, and he wondered if Finchkit was watching him. Would she have been such a disappointment to Sandgorse? Maybe she would have known how to make Pale Bird happy. That's so sad.
It's so upsetting.
Your dead infant sister.
Just this poor cat. It's just like all rough
Yeah.
for little Tallstar. I do feel like that's kind of why I have less comment, though. It's just like, right now, all of the chapters are just like, oh, people are mean to Toppa. Oh, the
Yeah,
tunnels are bad. And that's about all that's really happening.
and then his dad dies,
Mhm.
and there's just more tragedy.
Yeah, I'm kind of relieved when his dad died, though.
Honestly, like, why are you so upset?
Yeah, he's horrible.
Like, get over it. So Sparrow and Tallpaw are talking. Sparrow says that his friends wanted to come to Wind Clan to visit, so he came too. And then asks Tallpaw, "Why are you here?" And Tallpaw doesn't get it. He's like, "Do you mean why am I on Outlook Rock?" If you like, Sparrow turned and stared across the valley.
Bug, see, I hate how it says Sparrow turned and stared across the valley. Because you think it's gonna say Sparrow said.
Or meowed, yeah.
Sparrow has planted the seed of doubt in Tallpaw as if he should really be in Wind Clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like. You don't really like. We don't do a lot of that in these books. Like, the only time that you really see cats considering leaving, thinking about if they belong there, for the most part, is cats who aren't from there.
Yeah. We're getting some of that like in the very later books that I don't think you've even read yet.
No,
But
I mean, I'm still in the middle of Dawn of the Clans.
and it totally makes sense, like that question coming from somebody who's not in a clan, because like the whole concept of like having to always stay in your clan, not even ever considering about being independent, is so foreign. They continue talking, and then we get the bit about Tallpaw wondering if he should be a tunneler, and obviously like it's what Sandgorse wants, but it's not what he wants.
But yeah, I mean, I like this conversation with Sparrow. It's pretty nice. It's just like,
It is a good conversation.
not stuff that gets like talked about much.
You know what Sparrow reminds me of?
Bird.
I do. I know exactly.
Say it.
When all the sparrows died on Radar Peak every time they
Yes,
did the
that's
test.
exactly what it was.
So we close out this scene with Tallpaw thinking, "You choose your destiny, Sandcourse. I'll choose mine." And it's funny that he says this, and then he chooses to be a tunneler later.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Flailfoot's starving is hilarious.
Yeah. Why is he called Flailfoot?
I mean, also, it feels fine to have just like a background character we never talk about be called that. But just like, make one of the other cats who's not called that be the one who's hungry.
I love also how most often when there's a silly name like that, it's an elder, like Loudbelly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no respect for the old cats.
Weed Whisker.
Love if Flailfoot was the main character's name.
You know, the main characters never have a silly name like that. Then we are at the whole patrol thing, where he smells this, he smells a strange scent. He's like, what is that, pine sap? Stale river water? And it's ThunderClan. But again with the stale river water.
Water can't be stale.
That's not how water is.
No, like, I mean, it can be like old. Like, I get what they mean. It's not stale.
Yeah.
It's not like a cracker that's been in the cabinet for 2 years.
No.
This whole scene is so embarrassing. Papa's like, invasion!
Yeah, that is so, like, secondhand
Yeah,
embarrassment
and then
is so strong.
everywhere, ThunderClan is invaded. Everywhere. You smelled it one spot.
Yeah. So I'd just like imagine you're traveling to Highstones, minding your own business, like abiding by the laws, and then an adolescent cat runs up and calls you Weasel Hearts. He screeches that at you.
I like that they don't even
Like
say
we were just
anything.
walking.
They don't even
Yeah.
respond. I don't think I noticed that. I mean, they like react, but nobody else speaks.
It's so bizarre. Yeah.
I'll hold them off. Tallpaw unsheathed his claws. And then Tallpaw practicing being a leader. Trespassers, Wing Clan, attack! As if
Like,
he's
what are you
the
doing?
leader.
Oh, that was the end of chapter 14.
Chapter 15 Summary. It was just some cats traveling to the Moonstone. Shadow Clan they need to worry about, not Thunder Clan. Shadow Clan did a big attack, in fact. Dragonwing actually died. Tallpaw blames himself because he didn't mention how he stalled Shadow Clan in Wind Clan territory earlier.
That was a big error.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's his fault.
It's understandable why he didn't say anything. Very bad timing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the wiki summary. Tallpaw is about to attack Dappletail, Windflight, Fuzzypaw, and Robinpaw until Dawnstripe hauls him back.
Is it my turn next?
No.
I didn't think so.
Did something happen?
It's your turn to read.
No, that's the problem.
I said she explains that they're going to Mothermouth.
Oh. You cut out then.
We did not hear that.
Just because you didn't hear it. She explains that they're going to Mothermouth.
Pawpaw feels embarrassed.
The patrol continues. Stagleap cheers Tallpaw up by racing him and exchanging friendly banter.
Tallpaw smells Shadow Clan. He doesn't want to make the same mistake and says nothing.
The rest of the patrol, Dawnstripe, Aspenfall, Stagleap, and Appledon, smell Shadow Clan. Warriors are furious. Tallpaw said nothing and explained Shadow Clan doesn't need to cross Wind Clan territory to go to the Moonstone. Aspenfall goes to get the hunting patrol.
The rest of the border patrol rushes back to camp and joins the battle. Tallpaw sees Rena and Sparrow helping the Wind Clan cats.
Tallpaw recognizes Frogpaw, Ashpaw, and Newtpaw. Mole saves him.
Mole saves him.
I forgot that there was a cat called Mole, and when that happened, while I was reading that chapter, I was like, there's just a mole here now, and we're just supposed to move on. What?
I know.
Wind Clan wins the battle. Shadow Clan is chased out, with Stonetooth vowing to drive them out next time.
The only casualty is Brackenwing, and Tallpaw blames himself.
The way that sentence is written, it could be that Tallpaw only blames himself that the only cat that died is Brackenwing.
I know, like he
that.
didn't go for.
Except for blood.
I'm just thinking now, what is the percentage of times that, like, when a clan attacks another clan in their camp, like, how often is that successful? Because I feel like it almost never is when you're the invading clan.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like it depends, especially if they don't have a purpose.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something about this battle being told also in another Soupy edition from Shadow Clan's point of view where they actually did win?
Is that this one?
Yeah, there was something.
Where it's like whichever clan won is based on who tells the story.
I don't remember. It was with Shadow Clan in this book.
Is it Yellowfang? book.
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's Yellow Fang's what secret? What her book is called?
Hmm.
That was a great super edition.
It's fantastic.
Mm.
There's magic powers.
Yeah.
What could you want?
Oh, okay, so the ThunderClan warriors say about Tallpaw, we thought he was a rabbit. Tallpaw shook out his black and white fur. You must have some weird-looking rabbits in the forest. Robin Paw sniffed. Not as weird-looking as you.
Hmm.
Do you think that a black and white domesticated rabbit escaped into the forest?
I mean, also, are rabbits shouting things at them before they charge?
I know. Do rabbits speak cat?
And also, just run at the cats.
And is also clearly a cat.
He's also got that long ass tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very rabbit-like.
No, it's just fast.
But you know what is rabbit-like?
He haired after stag leap.
See, it's easy to confuse him for a rabbit.
I'd like to think they put that in on purpose.
I mean-
Just because of what they were just talking about.
Is that even a word? When? Who's ever said that?
I don't know.
I'm like thinking about it. I'm like,
I guess it is.
Alright.
A British
Yeah.
verb. Like, he haired off between the trees.
Wow, we really don't have any notes until the battle.
No, I mean, nothing really happens. It's just like, oh, stuff.
An agonized screech, a terrified wail. Yeah, that's the next thing. It's just like talking about why Topal didn't mention it, I guess. I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have make the same mistake.
No.
But
He
what do you
definitely should have
I mean,
said
why doesn't
something.
anybody else smell it?
It's not like he would run up to the shadow. If there was like a Shadow Clan patrol, he wouldn't have run up and attacked them immediately. He would have pointed them out first because now he knows that it was a mistake to just assume they're invaders. So he really wouldn't have made the same mistake if he had mentioned it.
I'm just
No.
going back. Like,
But, you know, I've done stuff like that when I was younger.
why didn't any of the other cats smell it? Does he leave them?
I don't know. I don't remember. He might have been like a little bit away.
There's nothing specifically. No. Pawpaw glanced at Stagleap. Should he say something? He's right next to Stagleap.
No.
Why doesn't anybody else smell it?
You'd think it would be really strong.
Yeah. Because it is really strong when they
Is that
actually
a
do
thing,
smell
though?
it.
I feel like it's just that he's really fast. He's not like particularly.
Yeah, I don't think
smelling.
he has it. I think it's just a little bit of a plot hole.
I mean, that would have been so easy to write around. He could have like run ahead, or just there could have been. Why did they have this? The other cats were right with him. You know, there's some things where it's like, okay, you wanted to do this, and I get how it could have been hard, so you made a whoopsie. This is just like, it would have been so easy to make this make sense.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, Shadow Clan's attacking their camp. The camp seethed with snarling cats. Tails lashed, paws flailed. The stench of pine sap mingled with the tang of blood. Why would Shadow Clan do that?
Yeah, there's just no.
Like,
We're given no reason.
they're just being evil, yeah.
Very Slytherin coded.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have a group of evil ones that are just evil for fun.
Does remind me of from Blue Star's prophecy, like when ThunderClan attacked Wind Clan camp for absolutely no reason too, except for that what was it, like a vole with the wind brushing back the fur the wrong way.
Yeah.
Poor Wind Clan.
Yeah, they get picked on, I feel like, more than any other clan. Just stop being mean to them. What did they do to you? just want to dig holes.
Well, guess what's not a secret anymore?
Yeah, I mean, there's just some random cats there. Although, does anything come of this? I don't remember.
Don't think so. Not that I
They just
remember.
like run up to attack, and there's like a good chunk of cats they've never seen before that are there that fight them. And I don't think it matters.
They clearly understand that these are not Wind Clan cats.
Yeah, but that they're sided with them because they fight them too.
And it's not normal for any clan to just have all these visitors.
No, or for
That would be pretty big.
or
news.
for rogues to help out the clans. There's just no reason. It should be very alarming.
We get another one of these things that happen a lot in Warriors where, the character's just standing there and then there's like a page or like 2 pages of them just taking in all the action before they jump into the fray. And we get one of these here. Like, how long is he standing there just looking?
Oh, up here there is. You need rogues to defend you. One of the Shadow Clan warriors sneered, showing his teeth. So they notice. I mean, it's been a long time since I read this whole book, but like, I don't think that anything happens with this. Or maybe if it does,
No.
it's after. Once he's gone.
I also guess eventually the visitors stop visiting. Especially when they move,
Yeah.
obviously.
But what happened to them? Why they stop coming around?
We get a lot more banter about scents with Frogpaw and like those other apprentices. Tallpaw like sinks his claws into Frogpaw's shoulders and growls, "Who smells of nettles now?"
You smell worse than nettles, Ashpaw hissed in his ear. You smell of sheep dirt.
What a sick burn.
And then Tallpaw attacks Ashpaw and is like, "The only thing you'll be smelling for a while is blood."
There's a lot more talking in this battle than there normally is.
There
Maybe it's just because
is.
we're just mostly just following apprentices who are like, haven't done this much before, but they're just like having so much banter.
Yeah. Shadow Clan loses.
In this version. And Heatherstar is asking the Shadow Clan deputy, which I don't even know why the leader didn't show up to his own battle, but the deputy, why they attacked. Why shouldn't we? Stonetooth hung limp in her claws, his eyes shining with hate. We could hunt on these moors just as well as you. Which is just so evil for no reason.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Like, this is just so stupid. It's not going to work. You're not actually gonna succeed. This is such a horrible way to live in a society.
Okay, it's a different fight, but it is this book. It's not this fight with Shadow Clan. And it is Yellowfang's secret.
Okay.
It is later.
That fight's not in the camp, right? It's like maybe a border thing.
It says during the battle that kills Shrewclaw. There are several inconsistencies with Yellowfang's
Oh,
secret.
right. Okay.
Oh, a different
Yeah.
battle.
But still the same
I
plans.
remember that now.
Okay.
So we will get there eventually.
I can't wait to read over the Tallstar's revenge mistakes again when we finish the book.
It's like the best part.
Evelyn, you found a mistake in the book that you're reading.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's on the wiki.
In, either Veil, I think it was Veil of Shadows. Maybe it was the one before it. Berrynose gets exiled, and as he's walking away, his tail drags in the mud. Except that his tail is supposed to be only half the size of a normal tail. So it shouldn't be long enough to reach the mud.
Yeah, you sent that to me, and I caught it. Just because it's Berry.
Yeah, as soon as you said that,
think of his
I was
tail.
like, I thought Berrynose didn't have much of a tail. Which, yeah, I almost never remember what the cats look like. I miss all of those mistakes because I just do not pay enough attention to that.
Oh, yeah. Unless they have some sort of disability. Well, as Stonetooth is climbing out of the dip, leaving blood in his wake, he says, "We've seen your weaknesses, you rabbits. Next time we'll drive you from your dens for good." Hissing at the watching warrior. Well, that part's not relevant. So, what weaknesses is he talking about, I wonder? Because there are several things, possibly.
But also, like, have they? They lost. And what they saw is that WindClan has more secret cats that they don't know anything about. So, like, they've seen some of their secrets, but weaknesses? I don't know about that.
Yeah, the rogues are, the visitors are actually a strength. The tunnels, I mean, I wouldn't say they're a weakness for WindClan. Not in terms of defending against it, defending their territory at least.
Yes, ShadowClan now knows like where each of the dens are. And like what the camp looks like.
And how helpful was that really?
Yeah.
Because there's not, you can't hide when you're coming into WindClan territory, really. It's so open. Like, knowing the placement of stuff, just how much does it matter, really?
It's just like one of those things that they always say, but like it doesn't really matter.
Like other clans, like I could get it. So it's like, oh, you can maybe try and come around the back now or whatever. But there's not really a back. They're just sort of out in the open, and I don't know how they're not eaten by birds all of the time.
Like the secret tunnel that's perpetually behind the ThunderClan nursery. That would be a good thing to find out, like in ThunderClan territory. All right, Evelyn, I'm wondering if you maybe were on my computer when you did these notes too, because I'm sure this note is from you.
Yeah, all the red ones are.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Where Brackenwing has this major injury. It's a gut injury, apparently. I think her gut microbiome is imbalanced.
I'm sure it will be pretty soon, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So she died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Then Shrew-Paw comes up. He's like, "Get up, Brackenwing. We won the battle." He stared at his mother, then at Barkpaw. What's wrong with her?
Oh no. She's dead.
She died like right then.
I will say, like, I'm not super mad at Shrew-Paw for the end of this chapter or the next, where it's just like, his mom died. He's going through it. He's allowed to be like a little mean to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, usually he's just bullying for fun. Or for whatever reason he does it.
Yeah, it's not like he's any
Yeah,
worse.
he's honestly almost nicer.
Yeah. And then Tallpaw wails like, "This is all my fault, it's all my fault," and the chapter ends, taking the attention away from the grieving cats and bringing it onto himself. Isn't that nice?
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, he made a big mistake, but it's 100% ShadowClan's fault. Like,
Yeah,
they
I mean,
did
it's
that.
also the mistake of fucking, who was it? Stag? It's Stag Leap? Whoever was right next to him.
All those other cats who didn't smell them.
Stag Leap.
They didn't. Yeah, they should have done a better, more careful job when they were on patrol.
Yeah, what good are you on patrol if you didn't smell that your camp had been invaded? Alright, chapter 16. The aftermath of the battle happens. Shrew-Paw and others also blame Tallpaw for Brackenwing's death. Eventually the tunnelers return to camp and there is discord because they could have been helping fight.
Wow, yeah. Alright, here's the wiki cliff notes. Dawnstripe says it isn't his fault.
Tallpaw explains to Heatherstar about him smelling the patrol, but not telling at first.
Shrew-Paw attacks Tallpaw, screeching the black and white Tom killed his mother. Hairfight pulls his apprentice away. Even Barkpaw is cold towards Tallpaw. Ina says it's not Tallpaw's fault, but Bess tells her to stay out of it.
Tallpaw still blames himself, thinking even his mother will hate him because it was his fault her friend died.
Medicine cats treat wounds and the warriors rebuild.
Hawkheart consoles Tallpaw, saying it wasn't his fault. Tallpaw worries that he ruined his friendship with Barkpaw.
The tunnelers come into camp for the first time since the battle and are surprised to learn Brackenwing died.
Shrewpaw yowls that Tallpaw killed Brackenwing, and Sangorse is ready to believe this before Heatherstar says it isn't true. Reedfeather scolds Shrewpaw.
The tunnelers and Moorrunners argue. The Moorrunners say the tunnelers should have been there to help defend the camp, while the tunnelers insist the gorge tunnel could have been an escape route and hiding place.
Tallpaw realizes the clan is tearing itself apart. Well, yeah, we start off with Shrewpaw lashing out in grief and attacking Tallpaw. Which, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
I don't have any more comments.
I do like that most of the old cats reassure him that it's not his fault.
Yeah. Except for his own father. Well, next, Hawkheart brings out herbs to put on Brackenwing. Tallpaw could smell their pungent green odor as it masked the scent of death. So what scent is the scent of death, considering that she just died? Is it like the blood and guts and viscera and whatnot? Is it voided bowels?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably some sort of horrible combo, because, yeah, I mean, she's not decomposing yet.
Yeah.
I think in warriors, they just immediately have a different smell.
Yeah, they just immediately start to rot. And then they have to sit next to them all night.
Well, Palebird is very sad. She says to Brackenwing's corpse, "You're the only one who saw Finchkit before she died. No one else understood my grief."
I get what she's saying, but also, like, that's not how things work. Like, it wasn't her kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Right.
she can definitely be, like, the main person cat who the closest to somebody understanding the grief that Palebird went through. But, like, you're telling me there's not a single queen in this whole clan who's had a kid die?
And just, like, focusing on the fact that she was the only one who saw Finchkit before
like,
she died.
The people who are going to understand your grief a lot better are other cats who had kids that died, which I'm sure there are plenty of. It happens often. I'm also just still so, like, I mean, I get that they don't want to have a million characters, but just the consistently incredibly small litter sizes are really something.
I always think about
It's so
that.
common to have 2 or 3 kids,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Eventually, more later on, I guess, we start getting litters of 4, but that's the max I've ever seen. That's rare. You made a comment about Tallpaw's emo moment.
I mean, that's really it. Just, it's fucking calm down. The medicine cats are trying to treat every cat's wounds because there was a battle. And he says, "Don't bother. My wounds don't matter." Girl. Calm down. Stop it. Get your cut fixed and move on with your day.
Well, Hawkheart sets him straight about how it wasn't his fault. Then we get this major bruh moment. Sandcourse, Mistmouse, Woollytail, and Plumcaw follow Hickory Nose into camp, their eyes stretching wide as they saw the torn gorse and shredded grass littering the clearing, some of it stained ominously red. Yeah, they really missed out on the battle.
It's just like they didn't hear any of it, didn't smell any of it.
I thought they were supposed to be able to hear stuff, like, really well.
Know everything because they're in the tunnels.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when they were coming back, they should have smelled that Shadow Clan was there. And they were there so recently that, like, they should have come, like, ready to be in battle. I mean, they would have heard that there wasn't a battle happening, but just like, oh, I would run up in a concerned way.
Mhm.
Just like, oh my gosh, there's the smell of another clan. What's going on?
That's basically Reed Feather's point here.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And that's so silly how Shrewpaw's like Brackenwing's dead and it was Tallpaw's fault. And then Sandcore's immediately like has a negative reaction toward Tallpaw, which is preposterous.
Tallpaw? How? Like, he just sort of believes it right away. That his own son. How long has it been since this? Wait, how long has it been? Was that true? No one had been near him all day except Hawkheart. How much time has passed?
I don't know if it says.
Because I thought that it was like right after. But that sentence makes me think it's been a few hours or something. Like,
yeah.
Why were the tunnelers gone so long?
Probably has been a couple hours.
Like, do the tunnelers really stay out that long? Do they not eat? Are they just like feeding themselves?
Yeah, I mean, there was that one time they like, were tunneling during the whole night.
Yes, I just like.
Oh, there's a lot of back and forth drama and argument. I thought it was pretty a weak argument when Aspenfall is like, you mean the Gorge Tunnel? How would that have helped today? And Sandgore says, it would have given us an
from
escape
what?
route.
You guys won the battle. There was no point where Wind Clan wasn't winning.
Yeah.
They didn't need to escape. If they had fled, they'd have been fucked.
Right.
Like, other times that would be relevant. But this specific battle did not require such a thing.
It would have been funny if they used the gorge tunnel to escape, and then they all just like plop out into the river on the other side.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like,
right. Like, what are they gonna do there?
They're just gonna be underground then to dig their way back out.
Rehydrate.
How to swim. We could have sheltered in the tunnel. Feels like a foreshadowing. We could have sheltered in the tunnel. It's big enough for the whole clan.
Oh yeah, that totally is.
Not that
they
tunnel,
did that
but
later.
They do very much do that.
What did we think of this episode?
I think that we need to get to some more stuff happening.
Yeah, not much has been happening. I mean, the battle happened, but it didn't seem like much has been happening.
Chapter 16
Yeah,
already.
I feel like when I read the whole book, it didn't feel like it drug on that long to me. But breaking it down into 3-chapter chunks and then not reading it again for a while, it's just like, this is a lot of just the exact same thing over and over and over again. Sort of.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's see about our favorite and least favorite parts of the episode.
My least favorite was the embarrassing ThunderClan scene. My favorite was when Truepaw attacked Tallpaw.
My favorite was probably the conversation with Sparrow at the beginning, and my least favorite is Tallpaw's father immediately assuming that he, in some part, murdered someone.
I literally have no answer. I don't know. None of it sticks out as bad, or particularly bad or good, in terms of like what I favor.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those boring episodes. Me.
I'll say my favorite part was Leofoot's starving. And my least favorite part was I don't know. The logical fallacy of ShadowClan attacking, and then also their weaknesses. Like, we've seen your weaknesses. I don't have a real answer. I'm done.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.